Hi, welcome to my YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to adapt these Magpul MOE handguards to your VZ-58 and Type 81 rifle. This is for an AK-47, this is for an AKM. Essentially they're both the same from this point to the back. The difference are the AK-47 is ½ inch longer and the AKM has a cutout for the swivel. Otherwise, they're both identical and they both will work with both rifles. But I would say that the AK-47 is a better fit for both rifles. I thought I'd better explain why this is a better fit. This is perfect for the VZ-58, but it's a bit long for the Type 81 because of the front swivel. Gets in the way. Easy solution is to get an M-LOK QD attachment. So, will this AKM work on the Type 81? Yes, although the front ferrule is exposed on one side. Not a clean look, that's all it is. This YouTube is a bit different. 3 things. 1, for the first time in my research for information on how to modify, went unsuccessful. I scoured the internet, on YouTube and in forums, but nothing. However, I did see this handguard on a VZ-58 on YouTube by Checkpoint. So I know it can be done. Just don't know how they did it, but I'm sure it's quite different than mine. I'll be the first to show you how it's done. Just remember, it's my way, not the only way. 2, this YouTube has a theme, and the theme is interchangeability, which means I only got one AK-47 handguard. I will modify this to fit both rifles. Similar to the grips, they're both modified and they're interchangeable with each other. 3, I normally have the modified parts installed on the rifle, then explain what I did after the disassembly. But this time, I will reverse it. I'll explain it first, install it last. So let's begin. As I mentioned, I will not be modifying this AKM, so I'll use it as a before example. This is the after example, and this is what it looks like. It has a heat shield in the middle. From here to the back, it's identical to the AK-47, except for it has 2 slots instead of 3 for the M-LOK, and the AK-47 is ½ inch longer, but it doesn't have a cutout for the swivel, front swivel. Other than that, they're both identical. The heat shield is held in place by 4 tabs. 2 smaller ones towards the back, 2 larger ones towards the front. Also note that towards the back there's 2 round protrusion. That needs to be drilled out because you need more room than this. Okay, the first thing you do, I'm going to show you how to do the modification for the VZ-58 first, and then after that I'll do the Type 81. The first thing you do is slide in a knife or a screwdriver at those tabs and pull the heat shield out. That's the first thing you do, like that. The next thing you do is, as I mentioned earlier, drill out those protrusion, round protrusion. Third, cut straight down to the first bend, 2 inches. You need 2 inches to clear the front trunnion. Okay. Next, cut 1/16 on either side because the trunnion is a little wide and these plates are going to be moving out and you need space for them to move out. So with a tin snip, remove 1/16 on either side and then follow the sharpness. Okay, the fourth thing you do is because of this protrusion on the trunnion, you need to remove the locking tab that's here. There's one on each side you need to go straight across and just remove the locking tabs. This cutout, ignore this cutout for now. This is for the modification for Type 81. But if you're just doing this for the VZ-58, just go straight across. You don't need to make this. And that's all you need to do for the VZ-58. That's the heat shield part. Now, for the plastic handguard part, no modification needs to be done from here to the front, except for that hole needs to be drilled. Now, these three needs to be shaved off 1/16 of an inch to make room for the expansion. Okay, these three. And this last piece, you even have to do a little bit more work than just going down 1/16. The last, this part curves. You need to actually go straight down like this, right to the locking tab for the retaining plate. Go straight down. Then the next modification you need to do is you have to modify this handguard tab so the plate could fit. As you can see, this AK-47 is a bit big, so you need to shave up some material from either side. I used a knife, a sharp knife, and just go enough, take off enough on either side till this fit. Okay, so that's it for the heat shield and the plastic handguard. Next thing you need to modify is an adapter. An adapter for the front for this is basically a U-shape copper pipe. This is a 1-inch copper pipe, and I screwed a 10/32 copper screw to this, and I put 2 nuts. It's held in by 2 nuts. That's all the front adapter is. Now I'll show you what it looks like in the front ferrule or the handguard retaining plate. This is it. This is how it's gonna hold the front of the MOE handguard. Now when you cut this U shape, go all the way to the top, so there's no chance of this thing moving up and down. Just go straight up to the top. Now this U shape, this copper pipe, is made from a 1-inch copper pipe. It's an extra thick one. You could use a skinnier one. The thickness could be a skinnier one, not a problem. The screw is a 10/32 screw. Put 2 nuts in it. Now I'm going to show you this heat shield going on. Okay. This heat shield cannot go all the way to the end because there's a curve, as you can see. So it stops about a 1/4 inch from the end of this curve. When you make that cut, make sure it's past the trunnion. 2 inches is just perfect. You will also note that when this heat shield is on the trunnion, it pushes the heat shield out about 1/16 of an inch. See that? This is the reason why you had to make that cut. Same on this side. See, it's expanded. And because of that expansion, you also need to remove with a tin snip 1/16 on either side. also. Now you know why you had to drill that out, because you need every single space, so that needs to be drilled out. So this is the heat shield, is how it sits before the plastic handguard goes in. Okay. Now remember, if you're just doing this for the VZ-58, you don't need to make this square cutout. Just go straight across. Okay. Just go straight across and remove those two locking tabs. And like I said before, you don't actually need it because this is held in pretty solid. There's no way this would vibrate or move. But because of this protrusion from the trunnion, the two locking plates gets in the way. Okay, so the next thing you do is put the heat shield in the plastic handguard. And it just goes like this, and it just snaps in. That's it. And now, with this handguard locking plate, retaining plates in place, I will slide it straight, I guess down, if your rifle's upside down. Make sure that this is inside. Make sure that make sure to slide forward. I made this a bit snug, as you can see. Okay, now I see the retaining plate is sticking out a bit, so I need to use a mallet to push that in. Okay. The handguard's in. I need to put the pin in to hold the back end of the handguard. Then I need to cut this extra long screw off. So I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I drove a pin that'll hold the back of the handguard right there. I also cut that extra long adapter screw right there. I'll paint that black later. I want to show you what it looks like before I put in the top handguard. See that copper plate? That's the adapter. Make sure when you cut the width of the adapter, it's nice and snug. That touches the front of this piece, and it fits right into the front ferrule. Notice that the reason why you made this cut here is to make room for the expansion of the trunnion. It pushes the plate wider, the heat shield wider. Okay, so now I'm going to use for the top handguard, I'm going to use an NEA rail. And it fits in perfectly. I think it looks great. I'm not going to change the stock. This is the standard AR stock that came with the CSA. I think it looks pretty good together with the MOE handguard. Okay, the next thing I do, I take this handguard and I modify it, the same handguard, I modify it to fit the Type 81 rifle. So stay tuned. Okay, moving along from the VZ-58 to the Type 81. It's very simple. First, let's tackle the heat shield. All you need to do is make a cutout 3/8 of an inch wide and 1/2 inch long. Okay, now the reason why you need to make that cut is to go over the hole for the main handguard screw. That. See that? If you didn't make that cutout, you would be about a quarter inch higher. So you need to make that cutout. All other modification that was done to the VZ-58 remains the same. Still 2 inches, still 1/16 removed, and still the hole has to be drilled out. All those remain the same. Now, next is the plastic handguard. Okay, there's two things you need to do. First, you need to drill a hole for the main screw for the handguard, the original screw. Next, you need to make this narrower. This tab for the locking plate, you need to make this narrower because to fit within this space. Okay. Yes, I know you're going to be a little concerned that it'll make this plate, when you put on the VZ-58, going to move too much from side to side. You need not worry about that because the handguard is locked solidly in place by these plates. So there's not any actual room to move. So you don't need to worry about moving side to side. You're more worried about moving up and down. Okay? So those are the two things you need to do. The front hole for the adapter remains the same. Now, speaking about the adapter, this is what the Type 81 adapter looks like. A little different than the VZ-58 adapter. Okay, you'll notice that the U shape of the VZ-58 is a lot wider, and the Type 81 is a lot narrower, and also the Type 81 has a second half round, or maybe even a third round, attached to just below it. Okay, same number 10 screw, 32 thread. Okay, and I'll tell you the reason why you need a second part round. Now, the front ferrule of the Type 81, unlike the VZ-58, has a cap which prevents the VZ-58 U adapter from moving up. Not so for the Type 81. It's opened, as you can see. Therefore, you need to attach this part round to below the U-shape adapter. And I separated with two copper washer, and then I screwed this assembly together. Now, because of all the vibration from the firing and everything, what I'm going to do is solder this whole assembly together. This will now fit into the front handguard ferrule. See? Without this half round, part round, it will slide up. Now it's not going anywhere. Okay. Oh, this is made from this is also made from a 1-inch copper pipe. Now I'm going to put these washer because I want to level the handguard. I need to put the heat shield back into the plastic handguard, like that. Turn the rifle upside down. Make sure the front swivel is facing forward. Put the adapter through the hole and squeeze it down. That's it. Next, the original handguard screw. Please note that I countersink the handguard, so this wouldn't sit higher. Now I was afraid to go much lower than this because I might just go right through it. Okay, it's in. See how that fits in that space? This is the original handguard screw. Next, copper washer for the adapter and the nut. Okay, once I'm assured that I'm not going to be changing the level of the handguard, then I'll cut this even lower and I'll spray paint this black. Okay, it's in pretty good. Next is the top handguard. I'm still going to use the vented handguard, and luckily I am, because I had to make another cut to the handguard, to the vented handguard. Over here, I had to make another cutout about 1/4 inch wide, 1/8 inch high on both sides. If you remember, this is for the Zhukov handguard. I had to make this cut. Now I have to make this cut for the MOE handguard. Now here, I'll show you on the rifle what it looks like. Okay, the copper part you see is the adapter. It's fitted right from the ferrule to in front of this plastic. And this plastic is about 1/8 of an inch too high. And rather than cut that, I'd rather cut my vented handguard I made. And here it goes. I'll put it in. There, it's in. Now I'll magazine in, and let me, yep, it's in pretty solid. And this is what the Magpul MOE on a Type 81 looks like. It looks pretty good. Remember when I said that this wasn't perfect for the Type 81, and this is what I mean. This swivel, the handguard is in the way of the swivel, but that's not a big deal. You can always get an M-lock QD for it. Nice, eh? Okay, so that's how you adapt a Magpul MOE handguard for the Type 81 and the VZ-58, making them interchangeable. Thank you for joining me, and please subscribe.